Greetings in the name of the Most High Jah Rastafari. This is the girl Jensen, Sister Jenny, Auntie Jenny, and if you want to get formal, this is Miss Jennifer Frederick with our 2026 New Year's, the new year, in fact. Let me talk the thing unfiltered. I know I started a little late, but you know, things get sometime, but I know that my peeps will join me as usual. I bless God. I thank the Most High for the support I get from my people who listen to what I have to say. And I'm just thankful. I see you all sometimes once I'm up and about. I usually see you all. You all will hear me out. Thank you all so much. Thank you all for the support. Again, 2026, new things, new beginnings. This is the year of judgment for all those who in 2025 we would have heard of all the wrongs they do and all the lying and all that. The year of the Jubilee, that is the year of revelation, bringing out all the wrongdoers, all those who have bad mind, wicked, evil. 2026 is the year they're getting judgment. This is the year of the judgment. Judgment is this year for those who have been caught doing wrong, no matter what it is. I just get the vibes and I'm telling you all 2026 is a year to watch. So people, let me start this thing right. Because we must start with the anthem. And we must have the pledge.
I solemnly pledge to dedicate my life to the service of my God and my country. I will honor my parents, my teachers, my leaders, and my elders, and those in authority. I will be clean and honest in all my thoughts, my words, and my deeds. I will strive in everything I do to work together with my fellow men of every creed and race for the greater happiness of all and the honor and glory of my country.
Yes, we must never forget our anthem because we are an independent country. We are also a republic country. We have our flag, our anthem, we have our national ambulance. We must not forget that. Despite all that is happening, we must be aware that we are a suffering country at the end of the day. I'll just bring in some history to you all. You know, I like to bring a little historical context. This is not my history. It's history that is out there that anybody can go and look at. And I just found it interesting. So I hope you all do also. Just a little tidbit of it. You all could go and research it even more if you all choose to.
The Bay of Pigs invasion, a clandestine operation undertaken by the United States Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, in 1961, stands as one of the most significant failures in American foreign policy history. This ill-fated attempt to overthrow the communist regime of Fidel Castro in Cuba exposed the limitations of covert operations and the dangers of hubris in international relations. The seeds of the invasion were sown during the Eisenhower administration, which sought to undermine Castro's government through economic sanctions and covert actions. The plan, which was inherited by the Kennedy administration, involved training a brigade of Cuban exiles to infiltrate the island and spark a popular uprising. On April 17, 1961, approximately 1,400 exiles landed at the Bay of Pigs, expecting air support from the CIA. However, a series of miscalculations and unforeseen circumstances led to the operation's swift collapse. The invasion's failure can be attributed to several factors. Firstly, the CIA's intelligence gathering was flawed, leading to a significant underestimation of the Cuban military's capabilities. Secondly, the decision to rely on air support, which was ultimately withdrawn, left the exiles vulnerable to attack. Thirdly, the assumption that the Cuban people would rise up against Castro proved to be unfounded. Instead, the population rallied behind their leader, viewing the invasion as an act of foreign aggression. The consequences of the Bay of Pigs were far-reaching. The humiliating defeat severely tarnished the United States' international reputation and emboldened Castro's regime. It also exacerbated Cold War tensions and brought the world to the brink of nuclear war during the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962. Moreover, the invasion deepened the ideological divide between the United States and Cuba, leading to decades of hostility and mistrust. The Bay of Pigs serves as a cautionary tale about the risks of hasty and ill-conceived interventions. It underscores the importance of careful planning, accurate intelligence, and a clear understanding of local conditions. The legacy of this failed operation continues to shape U.S.-Cuban relations and remains a stark reminder of the potential pitfalls of foreign policy adventurism.
So that's just some history there. I also want to add some other news. Let's you'll remember this young lady. Things are changing faster, so we have to be with the times to and change faster. It's from one topic to the next. You all remember this young lady? She is now a lawyer. She went to Lakshmi, I think it was Lakshmi Girls High School. That's the student who had no arms, and she looked at her foot. She became a lawyer, and I think under the partnership government, she was offered a job. Well, of course, she qualified for it, I think, in the AG's office. And she soon removed herself from there because I think it had to do with not liking what she was seeing or the ethics or something to that effect, but she did not stay there long. It was her choice to leave. Well, that young lady, as beautiful as ever, she would have sent some years greetings, and I thought it was important because we haven't heard or seen anything about her for a while. So this is what she would have said. We are often told that how we start the year determines how it will end, or that January must come with clarity, resolutions, and a new me. Life has taught me that our nervous system don't follow calendars. I believe we are allowed to begin the year tired, uncertain, grieving, or simply the same. Beginnings don't define outcomes. What shapes a year is how often we pause, repair, and return to ourselves. And it is completely okay if we don't set a year, but instead meet the year moment by moment. Some of the most meaningful years I've had didn't begin with grand plans or reinvention. They unfold quietly through ordinary days, gentle choices, and less self-abandonment. You don't need to force a new version of yourself today to be worthy of growth. Staying in relationships with who you already are and who you are becoming is enough. Wishing you a year that can be met gently, honestly, and at your own pace. Thank you so much for those words, Ms. Bajan. Again, you continue to show us that we take for granted what we have, and persons who have what we think are less than us, how they are resilient and how they make things work. Thank you again, my dear. Yeah. So let me continue. Well, the PNM would have lost two stalwarts and their families, of course. First the families and then the People's National Movement. So this is just a tribute that my member of parliament, Stuart Richard Young, would have paid to the two departed souls. May they rest in peace. Just a short tribute, so I would just read it there. And it says there, I offer my sincere condolences to the family of former PNM Senator Deonath Oja Maharaj, who transitioned today. Deonath Oja Maharaj served as a senator in the 4th Republican Parliament from 1992 to 1995. His family and himself were active supporters of the PNM, and Deonath serving as Assistant General Secretary of the party under former Prime Minister and political leader Patrick Manning. May he rest in peace also. May God bless his family with comfort and strength at this time, and may Dionats rest in eternal peace. Stuart Richard Young, SCMP, January the 5th, 2025. And just before Mr. Ojam Maharaj passing, his transitioning, we had the death and also transitioning of another stalwart, Mr. Edward Hart, or Eddie as he was affectionately called. And this is what Richard Stuart Young, SCMP, Member of Parliament for Port of Spain North St. Anne's West, would have said. A PNM stalwart and patriot Edward Hart, affectionately known as Eddie, has transitioned. Eddie was an individual whose heart and energy was constantly focused on bettering Trinidad and Tobago, and in particular Tunapuna. I thank him and salute him for his service and all that he contributed to Trinidad and Tobago. Eddie, you will be missed. To his family and friends, may God grant you strength and comfort at this time, and may Eddie's soul rest in eternal peace. Again, Stuart Richard Young, SCMP, January 4th, 2026. And I just want to play this tribute, a small tribute to Mr. Edward Hart. Today I heard some young DJs on radio, I think 94 point, one of those stations that my husband listened to. And one of them was speaking about his interaction with Mr. Hart. He said they weren't friends, but he was friends of I think Mr. Hart's son or something to that effect, and they were a part of the Eddie Hart League, and they would run like when they probably go into practice and somebody would come, Mr. Hart, we could borrow a whistle, please, or we could get a ball, please, or we could borrow a uniform, please. So he was that type of person. The whole of Tanapuna knows Mr. Hart as that type of person, very cordial, very affectionate, very caring, and with the Eddie Hart League that was started, I think, in the 50s or somewhere around there. So he's known for that. He lived right next door, basically, to the orphanage, and he has some link with it. If I'm not mistaken, I think his mom either worked at the orphanage or she was from the orphanage, and he remained in that space there. And he's well loved, and he would be missed. I would have interacted with him in 2020. I lived in Tanapuna for a while in the 90s, and he was my representative. That's who I voted for. But I didn't have much dealing with him or anything like that. But in 2020, I would have actually interacted with him, and we continue to keep that professional relationship and a very cordial relationship, and one that was full of respect. So I would miss Mr. Hart dearly, especially coming around to election time, when I would always move with them on the mic, and we have that camaraderie and all that. So to Mr. Hart's family, and from Let We Talk the Ting, Unfiltered, and from Bounce Up Central, we send condolences to the family of Mr. Edward Eddie Hart. And well, you all know that he has two famous grandsons. They are full blown. They came out, not that they weren't making music before, but last year they really was all over the place. They had a rhythm, and they had young brother and so many others on that rhythm, so full blown. And his son, Mr. Hart's son, also is a noted musician, and that kind of thing. So it's a really musical family, very low key. And we again want to send our condolences to the family of Mr. Eddie Edward Hart. And just recently, about a month or 2 months ago, there was a Thanksgiving service at the Good Shepherd Anglican Church. I was privy to that. I was there, and Tanapuna people came out to give that love and support. So you know what? He would have gotten and would have seen the love that the constituents and people had for him. And he was able to celebrate that with us, and we're able to celebrate that with him. So I was thankful for that. So just a little tribute here to Mr. Edward Eddie Hart. I didn't make the video, but I got it and I want to share it with you all.
My name is Edward George Philip Artist, but everybody called me Eddie, you know? So I've grown accustomed to that name.
I in a good spirit, I drink in a good spirit. The vibes right up to the limits, so don't hold me down, don't fight me down, yeah. Good spirit, I drink in a good spirit. The vibes ain't cars in a minute, so don't hold me down, don't fight me down, yeah. My friend and them couldn't tell you about me. Good people, it's good people. We only want love in we circle, yeah. My family couldn't tell you about me. Good people, it's good people. We only on love. Well, every man make their choices. I say we make sacrifices. We block out the noises. We have to forget the voices. One day we gon' make it. We don't have to fake it. I give you my best. I give you the chain of my neck. I give you my love and respect. But now hear the story. Is you vex with me? Like I do you something. Like I do you something. When I hear the showdown, is you vex with me? Like I do the wrong thing. Like I do you something. Oh, is that good thing? I in a good spirit. I drink in a good spirit. The vibes right up to the limits. So don't hold me down, don't fight me down. Yeah. Good spirit. I drink in a good spirit. The vibes ain't cars in a minute. So don't hold me down, don't fight me down. Yeah. My friend and them couldn't tell you about me. Good people, it's good people. We only baby, when you whine on me, I get wet. I get wet. I get wet. I looking all through the party. I hope I find you there. And when I hold on your body, I'm gonna say my name. Like this is respectfully. Young in a party, me and the baby, grooving and jamming, The music sweet, and we feeling sweet. I ain't ashamed to say, every night and day. I want to wave, I want to wine, I want to party.
So that there is his legacy, his grandchildren, full blown. So it's good to see that he would have contributed to these musical, brilliant, talented guys. And then the Etihad League, and of course his constituents when he was a member of Parliament, and all those he would have interacted with and helped. And Massey All Stars also, I'm sure he would be missed being an avid Massey All Star. I think he was a part of the rhythm section, but avid follower and fan and family of Massey's All Stars. So I know they too would miss Mr. Edward Hart. And I just want to make this announcement here to all those who may want to come and be a part of the celebration again at the, what do you call, the funeral. And it's this, the homegoing celebration for our dear Dr. Edward Eddie George Philip Hart will be held on Tuesday, January the 13th, 2026 at the Etihad Grounds, Tagarigua from 10 a.m. So again, it's a celebration and homegoing celebration of the life of Dr. Edward Eddie George Philip Hart. It will be held on Tuesday, the 13th of January 2026 at the Etihad grounds at Tagoriga at 10 a.m. And Dr. Marilyn Gordon has asked that ladies wear white outfits, representatives of the Women's League, as to give him a true PNM funeral. So it doesn't have to be everybody who, because you may not be a supporter of the PNM, you may not be into politics, you may not be a part of the Women's League. However, you are still encouraged, I'm encouraging still to come. The wearing of the white can be your choice, but for the people who are PNM, because he was a PNM, so you would expect that the PNM would want that type of tribute to him. So you feel free, anybody, to wear white, and if you don't, it is okay. It does not mean that you cannot come and be a part of the homegoing. Again, it's Tuesday, the 13th of January, 2026 at the Etihad grounds from 10 a.m. and PNM persons and General Council and Women's League are encouraged to wear white for that occasion, but anybody can come and wear whatever color they choose to celebrate the life of Mr. Edward Eddie Hart. So let me continue there. So this is some news. We have news that's swirling around. We all know about what transpired sometime over the weekend. I think it was in Venezuela. And we saw the developments there. We heard the stories. We've seen things all over Facebook, all over YouTube, and all over the radio. We're hearing a lot of stuff, right? But this is something coming from one Mr. Bernie Sanders. He is an American. I think he's a congressman, or was, or is still. He's a part of the Democrats, very, very vocal with his thoughts and what he believes and knows to be right. So take a listen to this.
Donald Trump has once again shown his contempt for the Constitution and the rule of law. Let's be clear. The President of the United States does not have the right to unilaterally take this country into war, even against a corrupt and brutal dictator like Maduro. The United States does not have the right, as Trump stated this morning, to run Venezuela. Congress must immediately pass a war powers resolution to end this illegal military operation and reassert its constitutional responsibilities. Trump's attack on Venezuela will not make the United States and the world safer. Quite the contrary. This brazen violation of international law gives a green light to any country on earth that may wish to attack another nation to seize their resources or change their governments. This is the horrific logic of force that Putin used to justify his brutal attack on Ukraine. Trump and his administration have made it clear that they want to revive the Monroe Doctrine, a belief that claims that the United States has the right to dominate the affairs of the hemisphere. They have spoken openly about controlling Venezuela's oil reserves, the largest in the world. Let's make no mistake about it. This is rank imperialism. It recalls the darkest chapters of U.S. interventions in Latin America, which have left a terrible legacy. It will and should be condemned by the democratic world.
That's Mr. Bernie Sanders there, and also this is coming from one Mr. Lawrence O'Donnell, a noted journalist and presenter of Substance. So please take a listen. We are in serious times.
Marco Rubio wants you to believe that it's about this. It's all about this. Marco Rubio says that this 25-page indictment is the reason the United States of America invaded Venezuela and captured Nicolas Maduro and his wife. Most of the pages of the 25-page indictment do not attempt to describe crimes committed by Maduro or his wife. The indictment alleges that Maduro and his wife participated in a drug trafficking conspiracy. The only specifics offered about any criminal action involving Nicolas Maduro or his wife refer only to one meeting that his wife attended in 2007, 6 years before she married Maduro and long before Maduro became president of Venezuela. And according to the indictment, in that meeting, Maduro's future wife, quote, accepted hundreds of thousands of dollars in bribes to broker a meeting between a large-scale drug trafficker and the director of Venezuela's National Anti-Drug Office. That's it. No specifics about that. No indication of how they know that. And no meetings actually involving Nicolas Maduro are described in the indictment. This is as vague an indictment as you could imagine. But this is why Marco Rubio and Donald Trump launched their one-day war with Venezuela, according to Marco Rubio. The drug trafficking conspiracy described on page 9 of this indictment says the transshipment points in Honduras, Guatemala, and Mexico similarly relied on a culture of corruption in which cocaine traffickers operating in those countries paid a portion of their own profits to politicians who protected them and aided them. And last month, Donald Trump pardoned one of the politicians described in that sentence on page 9 of this new indictment, the former president of Honduras. A politician referred to in this Trump Justice Department indictment was pardoned by Donald Trump last month, pardoned for drug trafficking scheme that is mentioned in the new indictment. Donald Trump already pardoned the Honduras guy. There is absolutely no reason to believe that the indictment is why the United States invaded Venezuela. What Marco Rubio did in Venezuela after spending most of the last year, we now know, secretly masterminding the invasion of Venezuela and the capture of Nicolas Maduro, was the closest Marco Rubio could come right now to delivering on the dream that will never die. It is the dream of some Cuban Americans like Marco Rubio and other right-wing extremists in the United States, the dream many of them have held since April of 1961, when a similarly planned invasion of Cuba failed at the Bay of Pigs. It was a full humiliation for the CIA and the American military, and for President Kennedy, who considered it the worst mistake of his presidency, which it most certainly was. It was a stain on American foreign policy that Americans forgot, but the world did not, especially Latin America. This is the way it was supposed to go. The Bay of Pigs was supposed to go the way Marco Rubio and the team executed the plan in Venezuela. Donald Trump can be presumed to be lying about every reason he gives for everything he does, having been documented by the Washington Post for pathologically telling over 30,000 lies during his first term as president. Everyone who can think has known from the start that Donald Trump's missile attacks on small boats with outboard motors off the coast of Venezuela were not about stopping drug trafficking. None of those boats could have reached the United States. They are all too small and don't carry enough fuel and could only reach the closest island, where they could have easily been intercepted. And now many observers feel vindicated in the belief that it was never about the drugs in those missile strikes, because Donald Trump has now said it's about the oil. But what if he's lying again? What if it is not about the oil? What if it is about Marco Rubio's dream? What if it's about Cuba?
Cuba is going to be something we'll end up talking about, because Cuba is a failing nation right now, very badly failing nation. And we want to help the people. It's very similar in the sense that we want to help the people in Cuba, but we want to also help the people that were forced out of Cuba and living in this country. Do you want to say something about that, Marco, please?
Well, I mean, I just gave you a statement a few minutes ago about, when the president speaks, you should take him seriously. So suffice it to say, Cuba is a disaster. It's run by incompetent, senile men, and in some cases, not senile, but incompetent nonetheless. It has no economy. It's in total collapse. And by the way, they were, all of the guards that helped protect Maduro, this is well known, their whole spy agency, all that were full of Cubans. I mean, it's amazing. This poor island took over Venezuela in some cases. One of the biggest problems the Venezuelans have is they have to declare independence from Cuba. They tried to basically colonize it from a security standpoint. So, yeah, look, if I lived in Havana and I was in the government, I'd be concerned, at least a little bit.
A little bit. Marco Rubio doesn't really care about Venezuela. Marco Rubio cares that Venezuela has provided oil for Cuba. Marco Rubio wants to starve Cuba of oil and all other resources. That has been the failed purpose of the American embargo on Cuba for our entire lifetimes. Donald Trump may understand none of this, or he might understand a little bit of it. But it doesn't seem impossible for Marco Rubio to convince Donald Trump of the glorious place in history for him if he becomes the American president who finally liberates Cuba from dictatorship, finally fulfills the dream that will never die.
So I just bring in the news out there. I didn't write it. I'm also seeing here in The Guardian, it says 21 hours ago, but it's more than that now. UN says removal of Maduro unlawful. Trinidad and Tobago stands steadfast with the US amid different United Nations Security Council views on the recent US military action concerning Venezuela and its deposed leader Nicolas Maduro and his wife. TNT Permanent Representative to the United Nations, Dr. Nate Parson, told attendees at the UN Security Council yesterday that the country remains steadfast in its support for and commitment to US-led cooperation efforts to dismantle criminal network across the Americas. The Dr. Parson not hear that what the President of the United States of America said. There's no talk now of any criminal network. There's talk about oil. And people in the region and people worldwide, I guess, but I know in the region would have said they don't have an issue with America providing security when it comes to human trafficking, drug trafficking, and that type of sharing intelligence, training, security personnel and all that to help defend themselves, and not about that. Nobody have no issue with America doing that. Those are things they have done over the years, and it has been welcomed by Caribbean countries and all that. The issue that persons had and continue to have is when they saw boats being blown out of the water, boats that is alleged to would have had drugs on it en route to America, and that people were saying that the penalty for drug trafficking and human trafficking in America, it is not execution, but you get held and hold before the courts. And they treated it like that. So people were having difficulties with trying to put the two different ideas together so that's where it stands. So our government, led by our Honorable Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar, who continues to side with America, even though in the face of it, where there's information that this has nothing to do with security against human trafficking and drugs, but she continues in her support and keep dragging our country in that instead of staying neutral, because now it's about the oil. We would have heard the President of America would have declared about the oil in Venezuela and the land in Venezuela and all that. We're not hearing any talk about narco trafficking and crime again, but this Prime Minister, and I don't know if her cabinet supports her, that they are supporting the actions of America under those circumstances. Still, remember, she is one who would have said, kill them violently, those who are in the boats, who is alleged were to be drug trafficker and having drugs on it. You heard Mr. O'Donnell said that those boats didn't have the firepower to reach America with whatever, and that it more would have been more around the, I'm paraphrasing, the Caribbean there, and they could have been held there. We would have seen, or I would have seen, instances where American military and that would have boarded ships or whatever that is alleged to have drugs on it, and the way they did it, they didn't shoot people and that kind of thing. They seized it, they had the people on the ground, they arrested them, hands behind the back and all that, and I guess they were taken to America for that. But based also on what Mr. Lawrence would have said, or Donald said, not me say, that a drug trafficker was implicated, or somebody was implicated in some document that they have concerning drugs and all that, who was prosecuted in America and sent to jail for those crimes of drug trafficking and narco trafficking, all that. He was pardoned, and he was, I think, the president, if I'm not mistaken, of Honduras, if I'm not mistaken. If it's not Honduras, my apologies. But he was pardoned by the president of America. So when you see things like that, you really get kind of confused. So I continue, right? Parson, like Dr. Parson, who represented TNT at the UN General Council, I think emergency meeting, he said Parson did so when he spoke at yesterday's emergency United Nations Security Council meeting. This was convened regarding the US military action last Saturday capturing Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores. The meeting under the Council's agenda item, threats to international peace and security, was requested by Colombia, supported by China and Russia. It was chaired by Council Chairman Somalia's President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud. It took place at the UN's New York headquarters while the Maduros were appearing at the Manhattan court. President Mohammed listed countries which had been invited to participate under the Council's rule on procedure. So it was Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Cuba, Eritrea, Iran, Mexico, Nicaragua, Paraguay, South Africa, Spain, TNT, Uganda, and Venezuela. TNT was the only Caribbean state involved. Amongst the 27 countries represented, there was vociferous condemnation of the US actions, including from Colombia, Russia, China, Cuba, Brazil, South America, Venezuela, Mexico, Pakistan, Iran, Eritrea, and 121 non-aligned states, Uganda, Libya, Nicaragua, and South Africa. There were calls for the release of Maduro and Flores, for the escalation of force, and for dialogue and diplomacy to be used. Some stress that Latin America and the Caribbean is a zone of peace and that this was threatened. Cuba noted 32 Cubans were killed in the US attack. The UK, Latvia, France, Paraguay, Chile, and Spain, which didn't recognize Maduro's leadership, called for peaceful democratic solutions for Venezuelans and said that counter-narcotic efforts and accountability must be pursued through lawful multilateral means. And then Argentina and Panama called for the release of their citizens held in Venezuela. So the US and Venezuela spar, and that is what the story headline is there for this part. It said US Ambassador to the UN, Mike Walls, defined America's operation as a surgical law enforcement operation facilitated by its military against two indicted fugitives, narco-terrorists. He said it wasn't an act of war and the US wasn't occupying a country. He said overwhelming evidence of crimes would be presented in court. He said US President Donald Trump had given Maduro multiple offers and tried to de-escalate, but Maduro refused. Walls questioned what kind of organization the UN is if it conferred legitimacy on the narco trafficker. Walls said the US wouldn't allow the Western Hemisphere to be used as a base for our adversaries, competitors, and rivals. Venezuela UN Ambassador Samuel Moncada strongly slammed the US actions, said the kidnapping of the Maduros breached the immunities of head of state And the situation set a precedent for all states in the UN. He said the credibility of international law and the UN authority is at stake. He requested the release and safe return to Venezuela of the Maduros and for the US use of force to be condemned. Moncada said Venezuela's institutions are functioning normally, constitutional orders has been preserved, and the state has control over its territory. He said Executive Vice President Delcy Rodriguez, along with the acting president, would guarantee continuity, stabilization, and internal peace. And there's something about the whole Trinidad steadfast support for the US. And this Dr. Passan continues in the face of all that. He continues with his conversation about Trinidad and Tobago remains steadfast in support of the United States of America and its initiatives to strengthen regional security, reinforce the rule of law, and safeguard well-being of our societies in the Americas. I really don't know what Dr. Passan drinking, smoking, thinking. If you winking, blinking, I don't get it. But then on top of that, now we have this young lady. I don't know why. Why did I say we have come we pushy. They put this is what she talking in front of the OS. I think she could have kept quiet and say, I don't want to go and do that. Let somebody else go. So listen to one of our people at the OAS.
And Tobago has been a long-standing proponent of the peaceful coexistence of states in the international arena. Our enduring relationship and partnership, as well as strong fraternal ties with both Venezuela and the United States, are indicative of this. However, we have equally acknowledged the notion that real regional peace has been elusive within the Southern Caribbean. Trinidad and Tobago continues to recognize the importance of collective efforts aimed at addressing the threat posed by transnational organized crime. It is against this backdrop that we reiterate our support for the efforts led by the United States toward disrupting and dismantling the transnational criminal networks that have been recognized here at the OAS and across the hemisphere as forces of instability and insecurity. At the same time, Trinidad and Tobago places significant value on maintaining constructive and respectful relations with the Republic of Venezuela. As a close neighbor, our country remains deeply invested in regional stability. The delegation of Trinidad and Tobago wishes to underscore its long-standing relationship with both the United States and Venezuela and stands ready to work collaboratively with all partners who share the aspiration of a safer, more prosperous, and stable Americas. Thank you.
I don't know why they send that young lady there under those circumstances. But, ma'am, you will get your 2 minutes of fame. I don't know if that young lady would have read all the different moving parts that happening, and if she was afraid to do she job, or she consciously wanted to go there at the OS and say what she said. But so these are locals who are protesting what would have taken place in Venezuela very recently and even prior to that. And again, I want to give shout out to David Abdullah. I mean, I like politics, but David Abdullah has shown resilience and his strength. Only union leader, after all of them would have stood up, because there's a story with all of them, Roger, all them standing up in solidarity with Maduro some years ago. They ain't saying nothing now. The only person who is coming out and speaking is Mr. Abdullah. Mr. Abdullah, thank you for staying real, staying true to the values in trade unionism in terms of that sovereignty and against imperialism and that kind of thing. Thank you so much. So there was a protest, a local protest. Just Yeah. So persons in this country doing their part. Also seeing these are persons, Venezuelan citizens, also doing their part.
Y a rescatar a su presidente, así que no se equivoquen. ¡Viva Maduro! ¡Que viva!
El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido.
Just a short video of protest, because we are now hearing, I didn't see the report myself, that the videos that were showing where people who it was said to be Venezuelans were marching and saying that they're happy for their freedom now that Maduro is not there and that kind of thing. Now hearing somebody would have told me, I didn't see it. A couple of people I trusted would have told me that those things they're saying is AI generated. That is not true. And that in one of them it was some football game it had or somewhere some years ago and that kind of thing. So it's all kind of thing they try. I don't live in Venezuela, so me don't know, Papa. Right? But we saw what happened in this country with Cambridge Analytica. We saw how that was, and that was since 2010. So we know things would have developed even more and that, get more sophisticated with AI and putting people, crowds that is not the real crowd. And we see what it is to Kamla Persad-Bissessar when they put a picture. That is not how Kamla Persad-Bissessar looks. That is whatever, what do they call it? Not touch up, there's a word for it. Where you could change here and fix them, all kind of thing on the internet. That is not how Kamla Persad-Bissessar looks. So we seen all them kind of thing, AI thing, and you know, that kind of vibe. So we just have to listen and take sense out of nonsense. Yeah? So let me continue. So the Caribbean also had their heads of leaders meeting, and this is what they would have also said.
Deposed Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro was arraigned in a New York court on drugs and weapons charges on Monday, pleading not guilty, days after his dramatic removal from Caracas in a U.S.-led operation that has sent shockwaves across the Caribbean. The unprecedented move has triggered sharp regional concern, with leaders questioning the legality of the action and its implications for sovereignty, stability, and security in the hemisphere. In Dominica, Prime Minister Roosevelt Scarrett urged restraint.
Dominica reiterates its call for the rule of law to be observed and for ongoing diplomatic efforts to ensure Venezuela's stability, good governance, democracy, and peace.
In St. Vincent and the Grenadines, opposition leader Dr. Ralph Gonsalves criticized CARICOM's muted response after the U.S. attack, arguing the regional bloc failed to confront what he described as a clear breach of international law by the United States. He also said CARICOM's statement fell short of warning Caribbean citizens about the potential consequences of a destabilized Venezuela should the U.S. put boots on the ground.
A lot of people are going to get killed. A lot of people are going to run out of Venezuela, good and bad people. And you only need a handful of bad men and women to come to any of these islands to create mayhem.
As regional leaders weigh their response, international relations experts warn the fallout could be far-reaching. International relations professor at the University of the West Indies, Mikhail Powinski, says the removal of a sitting head of state violates established global norms and sets a dangerous precedent. He adds that increased tensions could lead to skirmishes in Venezuela that can negatively impact the wider Caribbean, including TNT.
So it has ramifications, economic ramifications, especially considering, in case of Trinidad, the upcoming carnival season. And this type of instability where the airspace might be closed again for one or another reason.
Mexican journalist and political analyst José Luis Granado Ceja described the episode as part of a wider pattern of U.S. intervention in the region and he warned the government to choose its allies wisely.
She's unfortunately played into this game, even more recently talking about how there are people in the region with narco-trafficking ties, kind of a not so subtle commentary on other leaders in the region trying to position herself and her government as being an ally of the United States. But as we just finished saying, that is not a safe strategy. I think that the wise decision is to proceed very cautiously. Just because you are on the side of Donald Trump today does not mean that that will be the case in the future.
And IR fellow Dr. Joshua Philip Walcott said Trinidad and Tobago's cautious posture reflects uncertainty over how Venezuela's political transition will unfold.
It's still early days, right? The next 48 hours, the next week is really important to see what will come out on the other side. You know, is there a military coup? Is there a descent into chaos? Do we see cartels start running the roost, let's say, in Venezuela?
Questions were posed to the Prime Minister following Maduro's arraignment, including whether she supports the comment from the UN Secretary General that Donald Trump broke international law, if she was concerned that what happened to Venezuela can happen in another part of the Caribbean, and her thoughts on Maduro's not guilty plea. She did not respond up to news time. Doris Polo, CNC3 News.
Yeah. Silence, cricket. So, based on what the people are saying, you can see some people saying Dr. Rowley had to run now and Seo Jung had to run, all kind of things they're saying and whatever the case may be. And people free to have their opinion and all that, right? But I want people to listen to this, because if we're talking about narco trafficking, human trafficking, and drugs and those kind of things are the reasons why the U.S. military is down here in such a strong force, then all information that is out there is not me say it, me never say it, me don't have no evidence and nothing. I just playing with the people and then play. Was saying and has said, listen to this and see if you'll remember this.
And pay attention to the message. And the population will continue to get the kind of leadership that they like. They like the Movelang and talk, and Kamla is queen and guys with queen, and she's royal and this kind of nonsense. And it will be business as usual to the United National Congress.
Yeah. So
5 more years of opposition for them. That's all.
Is it then that one of the next steps also is for you to hand over additional information to the police?
I hand over all I have in my memory at this point in time. I'm available for any further clarification that they require. But I only got involved in this when I saw the hypocrisy during the debate in Parliament on the CIA report on human trafficking, when the UNC had the temerity to get up to talk about it and to cast aspersions when persons harbored on their own line and their own political party are actively and aggressively engaged in this over the years, which I am aware of.
Dr. Devan Paraj, thank you very much for speaking with us this morning.
Not me say, Dr. Devan Maharaj say. Okay, so it's about drugs and narco trafficking, human trafficking. Okay, listen to this. It is alleged, only listen to the voices, me saying who it is and who it isn't.
If she really want to play hardball, just the ultimate. Imagine you ask a question to the Prime Minister. How often have you been in your office on a Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday for the 5 years? Not one day. Not one day. So imagine you're a Prime Minister running a country, and your weekend is from Friday to Wednesday for 5 years. So remember, not one day has she spent a day, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday in her office. She comes up to Port of Spain Wednesday night, goes in cabinet, goes in Parliament, stays in her office. She then goes inside Parliament. She spends about 10 minutes if she had to talk or vote, and then goes back south. Her weekend is from Friday night to Wednesday night. Monday to, and the thing is the records there. Now when you tell a country that you want to come for another 5 years and you want to have a 5-day weekend, they will kill us. So we have enough, you and I have enough ammo on that woman to let her know, look, you can't play hardball with us. This ain't Dukaran or Prakash you're playing with.
Leave the thing that we have there, that we discovered in the house.
Marijuana?
Yeah. I wish we have not made it in public yet.
Well, and it has a lot to do with work ethic. The bags you're seeing under my eyes is because since this coalition has started, the political leader of the UNC, Kamla Persad-Bissessar, she starts work at 4 a.m. So at 4 a.m. she will be calling me and work starts. We don't stop. I have worked with 4 prime ministers as the right hand. Patrick Manning, Basil Pandey, Keith Rowley, and Kamla Persad-Bissessar. And she is indeed one of the hardest working prime minister that I have worked.
Papa laps. Me not able, you know. Me not able at all. I remember the drugs on the windowsill or some kind of bacchanal soul, and the police said plant like substance, but there is no very well when I go by the poor man, there is no what it is. Me don't say it, I don't say them saying marijuana, they hold this one at marijuana thing and whatever. But when you go by people with money, I guess it's no plant like substance. I don't know. So I remember that. And do you all remember this lady? Remember her, Miss Candace Bond? She was the ambassador, the U.S. ambassador in Trinidad back in 2023. And she had to clear the air about something. It was in the Trinidad Express, March the 1st, 2023. It said, Bond clears the air. It was an Anna Ramdas story. And this is what it was about. The United States ambassador to Trinidad and Tobago, Candace Bond, has explained that senior government officials, as referred to in the U.S. Department of State Trafficking in Persons 2022 report are employees on the government payroll who are accountable to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. In her first newspaper interview, a U.S. ambassador to Trinidad and as U.S. ambassador to Trinidad and Tobago, Bond told the Express yesterday that human trafficking is a priority issue for President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, as well as the U.S. Embassy in Trinidad and Tobago. In the interview at the U.S. Embassy office at Briar Street, Port of Spain, Bond said, when the United States discusses in its report government officials, essentially that means anyone who works for the government and is accountable to the people, so that elected official. It could be someone who works for the government, such as myself. She said anyone who is in the government employ and who has a position of authority is a government official. This is really about who is accountable to the people, and that is what we mean by government, she added. Controversy erupted at the parliament sitting last Friday after opposition leader or opposition MP Rodney Charles said the United States July 2022 Trafficking in Persons report stated that Trinidad and Tobago maintains its position on the Tier 2 watch list, in part because it did not take action against senior government officials alleged in 2020 to be involved in human trafficking. In response, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley said they did not hear the allegation and when investigated, found the report was referring to current members of parliament who are not on the People's National Movement benches. Bacchanal then broke out over the weekend when opposition leader Kamla Persad-Bissessar said the report was not referring to the opposition official. She stated, "Can Keith Rowley be so kind to tell the country who member of the opposition UNC is currently a senior official in his government?" The report also clearly states that the government did not take action on the allegation. There is no one in our country who would believe the Rowley PNM government would take no action if the alleged official were UNC. Clearly, PNM officials are the ones involved. The contentious paragraph of the report states, corruption and official complicity in trafficking crimes remain significant concerns inhibiting law enforcement action, and the government did not take action against senior government officials alleged in 2020 to be involved in human trafficking. So with the Prime Minister pointing fingers at the UNC and the opposition leader hitting back at the perpetrators is in the PNM, Ambassador Bond cleared the air. Senior government official means anyone in the government's employ. Therefore, perpetrators can sit either on the opposition or the government benches. Ambassador Bond also said the U.S. government and its embassy in TNT have initiated programs to deal with trafficking in persons. She said, we are quite aware that trafficking in persons is a horrible issue. It is a priority for the Biden-Harris administration and for our government. And it is a priority for our embassy, which is why you see us implementing programs. It's a personal priority and one we work diligently on, my whole team. We are giving it a whole of embassy approach from the mission. It's very important. And she went on to say some other things. But what is interesting, she said, when they spoke about in that report, that US report about government officials, she said, government officials can be either sitting on the opposition or the government benches. And you all would have heard Devon Morad, with his own mouth, would have implicated or would have said that the UN, somebody in the UNC, an official in the UNC, is involved in human trafficking. He came down from Canada and gave a affidavit signed to it about that. He spoke about him being propositioned at some function, and even Vasant Bharat came out and would have supported what Dr. Deva Moraj would have said. So I'm just saying, based on that, I don't know. People big and have sense. I just reading what out there. I saw that as Bishop Gordon said, he's standing in solidarity with Venezuela. So lots of people are coming out and having this say about this situation. So they said he has taken a stance in solidarity with the people of Venezuela. I'm not getting that report open. Okay, it's not open. So this was January 1st, a couple of days ago. It was TV6TNT.com, and it says that Bishop Jason Gordon has taken a stance in solidarity with the people of Venezuela. He expressed concerns over the increased military action by the United States against Venezuela in Caribbean waters and calls on CARICOM to meet with one voice and to take a stance against what's happening. Yeah, so everybody's putting their voice to this, what is happening, and what it said was, it turned out that it is not, and the saga continues. So I am seeing that Movietone, that there's some businesses there in Movietone that has closed their outlet. And this was in the Guardian today. It says Movietone, the home store closes outlets. The economic downturn has claimed 2 more casualties in Trinidad and Tobago business landscape, with Movietone closing its Tobago cinema and the home store closing in Chaguana's branch. Movietone chairman, Movietone chairman Derek Chin, confirmed to Guardian Media yesterday that the Tobago location had shut its doors, ending nearly a decade of operation on the islands. Despite 8 years in the market, the cinema never turned a profit, even after management introduced reduced ticket prices to attract patrons. Chin explained that the facility required significant upgrade, including new projectors, seating, and screens, but the cost of refurbishment was too high given the lack of growth. And he went on, but the thing is that he said regarding the future of the employees, he said the Tobago closure affected a small team of about 6 to 7 employees, with Movietone exploring options for reassignment or retrenchment packages. While the Tobago chapter has ended, the company is shifting a focus to Guyana, where operations are thriving and expansion beyond Georgetown is being considered. So some more businesses have closed in Trinidad since the UNC came into office. And it has to do, I suspect, with the economic situation in this country. I'm also seeing KFC. KFC is saying, again, this was in the Guardian today, KFC sales flattens due to economic uncertainty, says VP. Sales at one of the country's most popular fast food franchises has plateaued due to job losses and general economic uncertainty in Trinidad and Tobago. This was confirmed by Roger Rambaharos, KFC and Pizza Hut vice president, when asked about a fried chicken giant sale in this country yesterday. We have seen a bit of a slowdown in the last couple of months. I think consumer spending, in light of everything that is going on around the social and political issues, persons are being a bit cautious. However, branches like KFC, we tend to benefit to some extent because we offer everyday value. We offer great innovations, and portions come to the brand, and persons come to the brand for comfort. So we see it as an opportunity and a responsibility at the same time that we need to provide even better value for our customers, especially in difficult times. He said, right? The thing is, KFC, their sales are flattening due to economic uncertainty. And I want to tell the VP, he's been very kind. When you fire 10,500 CPEP workers, when you fire, thousands of reforestation workers, when you fire thousands of European workers, when you fire contracted workers in the public service, when you fire people from HPC, people from WASTA, when you do that in quick succession, you pull them out of the economic climate. And those are people who spend money. And I'm sure they spend money KFC for the nice meals, the nice chicken and all that. So when you pull them out, they may have money. Who you expect to be buying KFC? So when you say people cautious with the money, yes, they're cautious because they don't have no money. Okay? That's UNC leadership in this country. The yellow code was activated. I am seeing here that of the 150 schools to receive government-issued laptop for formal students, 60% remains without them as the new school term started. All in here back, and let me just read a little part. All they talk and they talk and they talk and they talk. 60% of the 160 schools ain't get no laptop. This was in the Guardian today. Of the 150 schools set to receive government-issued laptops for Form 1 students, 60% remain without them as the new school term started yesterday. Distribution began on November the 27th at Pinal Secondary School. In June 2025, it was announced that the government would purchase 18,000 laptops and accessories for students who were set to start Form 1 in September. Permanent Secretary in the Education Ministry, Claudette McKellar, said yesterday another tranche was expected to be released in the next 2 weeks. That is not what they tell people. You all tell them they're getting it for when school open. Again, we hope that that it will be delivered by the end of January to mid-February 2026, subject to delivery from the supplier, he said. The Education Minister, Dr. Michael Dowlatt, said since the launch, distribution has been progressing in phases and will continue over the next coming week. Oh God, let's not fool people now. That is not what it said. It was no phases. But only make sure they give it a school first down in Penal. Hey, promises. What promises? Made promises what? Oh God, they keep changing. They keep changing and shifting the goalposts. I'm seeing here also CNC News, employees attached to the Ministry of Education are refusing to work, citing what they described as an ongoing mole infestation throughout the Tower B building, which they say has persisted for the past 3 years. I want to tell Prime Minister too, Barry Padarat, he needs to go down there, because I remember that he was all over stating that the Prime Minister's office at Whitehall not fit for people to be there and all that drama, when it was shown that is not true, that whatever issue they had, people relocated, they would treat any matter. Then he went to the, I think, diplomatic center to show how much alcohol there and how much money they spend for alcohol, all that. But one of the only man who was dragging coffin and then who said, by your own coffin to drag, Victor Roberts, he said Christmas night or New Year's night or some night they had a black tie event at diplomatic center that nobody didn't know about. So I wonder if the drinks that they showed at Dr. Rowley and PLM Pritchard, if they used them drinks or if they had to buy more drinks. Yeah, so I think I know he was showing that the security the thing it has passed, you know, but it's BP, we call that the scanner at the diplomatic center in working. When you look, it's because the cord did pull out the socket. So I wonder if you could go down in Ministry of Education and come to the assistant of ministry workers who say that the building down there in Tower D or C or wherever, Tower B, it's infested with mold. I'm just asking. Eh? And as I was saying again, that makeup that be slamming Barry. And they say lace front we get us have. I don't know. I'm not into the hair business. I'm not even into the makeup business. But I hear they say so it's a lace front and it put on good and the makeup that be slamming. Only once I see the we just call it morning growth kind of thing. And like that morning they didn't put on that. You didn't fix up the face good that morning because they seen on the little black thing, but normally it does pat down. Tell me where does buy that makeup. So I could put it on when I'm doing my show. Anyway, let me continue. Yes, Papa. I'm also seeing here that non-energy sector slowing, says central bank. Again, this was a couple of days ago, so just reading the little outline. They said, despite some promising movements in the energy sector mid-year, the central bank noted that there has been a noticeable slowdown in business in the non-energy sector, especially given the uncertainty created by the tension between the United States and Venezuela. Let it go on cost. They won $10 million man. That who he was, Larry. For why let it go on cost? He's the central bank. He's the central bank governor now. You hear that? Business going wrong. So to the business chamber, I think what Shogunas and whatever we're talking about, the business looking good and progressing, whatever. All the stuff light, all the stuff and stuff light to people now. Because it's not going good. The economy not going good. And I know probably because all is Indian, I just saying. Probably because all is Indian, all they want to side with Kamla, but the reality is when it start to hit all the pockets, you go see how much Indian is having that because it has nothing to when it hit your pocket and nothing with Indian and Chinese and African and Syrian and Caucasian. It's about money to pay your rent, to pay your mortgage, to pay your child's school thing, to pay your car and all that. So because see how long all you go hold on, but you know the economy is perking up and all kind of that thing. Must see all you who must go and take Botox, must see perking up, or who must go and put thing in the booby so you could stand up. That must be perking up. You know economy all they talking about perking up. So let me continue, Papa. Let me continue, people. Hey, well, I think it's so. So, Rennie Bishop would have made this tape a while back, but I found it to be very interesting. I like his voice too, but that voice could, yeah, he said some things that was very interesting. I just want to play for you all to listen to it. Just listen to it. And we will move on. Just listen to it.
I try as much as I can never to approach a microphone angry, because when you're angry, you don't represent yourself in the best way. But I'm annoyed, very annoyed. I am looking at a post from one of the contributors on my Facebook page in which she speaks of the division, the hatred, the ugliness being spewed on social media by people who have turned this country into what any visitor would think is a war zone, a different place from the place we know. This is where they take pages and they open them under false names so they can use caricatures of people and they can insult the Prime Minister of the country and or anybody else they choose to because it is part of their campaign of ugliness, viciousness, and racism. These are the people I call the merchants of division. These merchants of divisions are busy with what I have called a scorched earth policy, where they don't care what they destroy, how they destroy it, how they leave it, as long as they get their way. There are few individuals who do this, but I firmly believe it is in the main an orchestrated approach. It is sick, vile, and dangerous, and it must be condemned and rejected by people who will identify the nasty minds behind these campaigns and expose them. These people are throwing gasoline on the streets of the nation waiting to strike a match, waiting for somebody to strike a match. They will not do it themselves because they are too coward, and they can always say, I did not tell anybody to do that. Be very clear, these people who sow hatred through race do not care about this country. Be very clear in your mind that the drivers of division hate this country and its people, because to love this country is to love all its inhabitants. This country is an amalgam of all ethnicities. If you desire to see racial strife, if you seek to sow distrust in communities, to have neighbors against neighbors, you do not love this country. So if you seek to lead something you don't love, you must have another agenda. This desire to have everyone suspect each other, this desire to tell people when your party is in power, you will get yours, and as soon as we get back there, you will continue to get more of what you had, depending on which party your ethnicity supports, is very sad. These are parasites who should be treated as pariahs and cast out. When people say it is bad on both sides, to me it is a way of neutralizing the offenders. It is true, parties always had and do have their base constituencies, but it was never weaponized the way it is now. There is little discussion of policies, the challenges facing the nations, or solutions, just the use of the crudest language, the ugliest images, and the most vile insinuations. We must remember that politicians will lose leadership of their parties or leave politics, but the viciousness spewed while in opposition, the country will have to live with for a very long time. We must be mindful of the reality of the ease of weapons in the region. When you start stockpiling ethnic hate in barrels of hard times, it's tantamount to screaming fire in a crowded theater. The stampede which follows cannot be controlled nor the outcome contained. Good people, thinking people, and people who truly love this country must stop being silent and speak out. Condemn the racist thinking of these power prostitutes and mayhem makers.
Right? Very apt. The UNC supporters, some of them, are guilty of what Rennie Bishop now spoke about: hate, division, mayhem makers. I would say in prostitutes. Yeah? Chaos, racism, wickedness. Some of the UNC supporters. We saw it in 2020 for the general election. Mrs. Kamla Persad, opposition leader, never said nothing. When all over Facebook, they was calling with the N-word, saying we is hungry. We are saying the N-word. 2026 are saying the word. That is what they must say. They were saying we hungry niggas. They had advertisements where they're showing the African on the street begging and hungry. And when some in them one fella, he purse fall or wallet fall, and the fella pick it up and always at Rasta, stop putting Rasta. Let's chop in this somewhere, please. Yeah, with a Rasta hairstyle, must really a hairstyle in truth. And go on by the house and give back the purse and the wallet, whatever, and they give him a greasy bag, and he gets some banana and something, whatever it is. And then a dirty, stinking drunkard who was wrong this Savannah. The only thing I say in this pissed down his friggin' self when they say, come out and eat him banana and let me tell you something, when you see you don't know yourself because he's from mixed heritage, so like he don't know how to fit into one. Probably the Indian side of it don't like him, and he don't like his blasted self, and he's trying to fit in wrong kamla pasad with them. Come out and to support them kind of thing, but banana when you understand the context. Anytime they give African people banana, what they're talking about is monkey, they're talking about, and they just want to call me monkey. And I'm going to say this, and I mean no disrespect, because I'll be confused. If only like to call African people nigger and call them monkey and ugly and don't see. I'm asking a question because I would like somebody from the Hindu faith to answer me. I'm genuinely asking this question. The most benevolent and love God in Hinduism is Lord Hanuman. And when you see pictures of Lord Hanuman, he represents like the monkey. So I don't understand how they call it African people monkey and want me to feel is that disrespect. And when, based on all the story, when, oh God, how do you think go? I don't want to misrepresent it. When they take Shiva and is not Sita. Listen, I might be calling the name wrong, forgive me. Somebody kidnapped one of them people, one of them deities, I think it's Sita, and carry she inside the jungle in the forest day when Lord Shiva, I think it was Shiva, remembrance of that kind of thing. So forgive me, I mean no disrespect. Shiva would have went, he didn't go for himself because Ravana, I think they take she into the forest and think they. He went for the monkey and them and the monkey army is who went in there and they behead, I think, Ravana and get back Sita or something. So all they insulting me, all they praising me. Which one of the two? I just asking a question. Anyhow, when Rennie Bishop talked that's for UNC supporters, PNN supporters again. So what he doesn't answer back, because in 2020 he wasn't answering back. People are saying when they go low, we must go high. This Michelle Obama thing, love her dearly and everything, but I start to say, when they go low, I go in low and I'm coming out under the white line, straight on the and coming out as clean and rose smelling as a rose. But again, you're talking disrespect me, I disrespect you back. You show me love, I show you love, right? So that's what you have to say. About people being patriotic and all that. So let's listen to this from one Miss Makila Pandey. She asked him, where's the Prime Minister? The Prime Minister's silence in the wake of the United States operation in Venezuela involving the capture of President Nicolas Maduro and his wife is both startling and unacceptable. Given the gravity of what has taken place and its clear regional security, economic, and humanitarian implications, Trinidad and Tobago has heard almost nothing from its head of government. This silence is particularly striking when contrasted with how vocal Kamla Persad-Bissessar had been in the past on regional and international development. Thus far, the only direct communication from the Prime Minister has been 2 tweets, while the Minister of Defense has offered only a WhatsApp message in which he dismissed public's concern by saying, I do not believe citizens are worried as there is nothing to worry about. The contrast with regional leaders could not be clearer. Yesterday, Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley immediately convened a press conference to address the nation. She outlined the potential impact of the Venezuelan crisis on Barbados, acknowledged flight disruption, addressed concerns for Bajans in Venezuela, and reassured the public that the government is actively managing the fallout. In Guyana, President Ifran Ali confirmed that he convened an early morning meeting with senior security officials, the Defense Board, and the national security apparatus to assess the implication of the U.S. action in Venezuela. In Trinidad and Tobago, however, there is no press conference from the Prime Minister. Instead, the Prime Minister addressing the nation, Trinidad and Tobago, was directed to a United National Congress press conference streamed on party and political leaders' Facebook pages to speak on matters of national interest rather than through the official channel of the government. This raises a fundamental and troubling question. Why are matters of national interest, national security, and regional instability being addressed through party political platforms rather than the government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago? A national crisis is not a campaign event. Governance is not social media content. And public reassurance cannot be outsourced to party machinery. That press conference has now come and gone with neither the Minister of Homeland Security nor the Minister of Defense present, and with Minister Sobers unable to answer key questions on the unfolding situation in Venezuela, and in several instances admitting that he did not know the answer, including when, if at all, the Prime Minister will address the nation. At a time when serious developments are unfolding in our immediate neighborhood, citizens deserve clarity, transparency, and leadership from the Prime Minister herself. On behalf of all concerned citizens, the Prime Minister must step towards, be visible, and lead in matters of national importance, treating matters of national interest with the seriousness they demand, and the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and with respect they deserve. Makeba Pandey. I ain't gonna say what I wanted to say, so listen to this. Listen to this. I ain't go.
It's crazy to me how Kamla Persad-Bissessar seems to have just opted out of her obligation as a political leader to make any sort of public address. As a Trini who lives in Barbados, nothing highlights the gaps in her leadership style to me more than comparing it directly to the leadership style of Mia Mottley. Mia Mottley has made 2 public addresses via press conference to the nation in the last week alone. One around the situation regarding Venezuela, one that was just a New Year's address. Kamla Persad-Bissessar didn't even address the nation on Independence Day. Mia Mottley addressed the nation for Christmas. She even made an address to the nation about a shooting incident. Kamla Persad-Bissessar hasn't even been at a post-cabinet briefing since June of last year. And this is not about support for her foreign policy, for her work, for her politics. This is a basic obligation of an elected leader. I don't in any way support Donald Trump or his politics, but he meets that basic obligation to make public addresses, because that is a core duty and responsibility of yours as a national leader. This is a moment of national, regional, and international interest, especially from a country where you can see Venezuela from our shores. A part of your responsibilities should be communicating with the general public that elected you to work for them. It is an obligation and expectation that a political leader makes an address, makes a statement, reaffirms the public, takes a stance on the issue. It is very unfortunate that people let party affiliation blind them from holding leaders accountable to basic obligations of their leadership.
Right? Mia Mottley, when Dr. Rowley was in office, if you say hear them, oh God, why we Prime Minister couldn't be like Mia Mottley? Why we Prime Minister can be Mia Mottley? And they don't say nothing now. Dr. Rowley said come and stand up and face the reporters and Trinidad and Tobago every time. Every time. His ministers used to come out and face them. Every time. But now they contented in this country because it looked like we Prime Minister is now Mrs. Trump. Outside woman. I just say it's a local palace. Because everything he do, she doing too. So he does just tweet and thing. But you know what? As the girl say, he does still meet the basic obligation of talking to the American people as talking to the American people. Where's the Prime Minister, Kamla Persad-Bissessar? She was very vocal during the election and she could run and people said, yeah, there's a code on. Where's she now? Where's she now? Okay. Listen to Rambles, and again, I like this gentleman. He sums up things really nicely.
Trinis have to all collectively stand in awe at the Prime Minister's disrespect to us, Like this level of disrespect has to be studied for generations to come. And here's why. Wee hours of the morning, boom, 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 bomb falling in Venezuela. We don't know what's going on. Then the news start trickling in. Hey, Venezuela under attack. What? You sure? You hear that from? People start sharing social media things start going around the place. So obviously, Australians were concerned because we cannot pretend to be an innocent bystander looking on in this. We had jets flying over our house, helicopter with gun, Ospreys taking off down Shagaramas, or them jumping up in steel ball around the world. So clearly, we were not an innocent bystander. So now people want to know what's going on. The war start? Should I go to work today? Should I send a train out today? But what's taking place? And then they start asking me questions. So I'm like, don't worry yourself. Later on, we go hear something. The thing now start is what, 4 or 5 in the morning. Come on. Nothing, no. Nothing. To this day, I am making this video. We ain't see the seal on TV yet. Instead, you know what we got? Some stupid press conference with the Minister of Housing, the Minister of Foreign, CARICOM, Local and Airs Affairs, and the head of HEC to come and tell us, well, look, the PNM are spending money here to cut grass in Couva. You really think they had to spend so much money to cut grass in Couva? Like, bro, come on. Time and place. This was a shit press conference. This could have been postponed, especially in light of shit going down just about 50 kilometers from our back door. Meanwhile, Barbados, that is around 910 kilometers away from Venezuela. And this is Barbados. That name wasn't even in the mix. Remember, Barbados had no radar. They had no military presence. The name wasn't in no international news was helping America to overthrow Maduro. Barbados' prime minister jump out.
I wanted to say Happy New Year to each and every one of you, but the last 24 hours have proven to be exceedingly challenging. And it is important that we speak to the country to be able to ensure that on the multiple fronts that we have been affected in the last 24 hours, that we keep everyone up to date and to let people know that things are under control with respect to the consequences that we are now currently facing. It is fair to say that what we saw happen last night in Venezuela is uncharted territory. It is also fair to say that what we saw happen in Barbados last night must also become a thing of the past, and to that extent the law enforcement officers have also met with me, so that I am here for dual reasons today and not just one, but any one of the two would have been sufficient to bring me to address the people of this nation.
One must ask the question, and it must be an honest question. What is your real purpose, other than running the country via WhatsApp? Imagine the Prime Minister of Barbados is addressing her nation. Meanwhile, we can't hear from the Prime Minister, the Minister of Defense, the Minister of Homeland Security. We can't hear from nobody involved in the security apparatus of Trinidad and Tobago. We're hearing from the Minister of Housing, and you all find this is normal behavior for your country. You all find that this is good. We literally have Joe Biden as our Prime Minister. Literally. We have a female Joe Biden running the country.
Right. I like to recap things, because sometimes for people to really get a grasp of things and understand it fully, you have to keep repeating, right? So this is one I say, Kamla, you know how they say, you please turn around and bite you? I mean, no disrespect to nobody. I just saying I'd listen to this. And I tell you, this place sweet.
In all their mind, all they would ever imagine that Kamla Pusabisasa would be the person to redeem Keith Christopher Rowley's reputation. And it didn't take 8 months full look. That's what I'm telling you, look. That's what I'm telling you. In 8 months, the woman redeemed Keith, dog. The woman redeemed Keith. And
how much more can people take? Yes, we must get revenue, but there are other ways to create revenue streams. We have a plan to do just that, not the tax. The next UNC government will not subject our citizens to punishment over taxation and through taxation, over taxation. We will work to put money in your pockets. So you bring hope and success back to your lives. And how will we do this? We will lower taxes. I repeat, we will lower taxes, corporate taxes, and personal income tax.
And the sad thing about it is that I was here Friday before my permit expired. My permit was expiring Sunday. And I was here Friday, they told me the system down. Come back Monday, which was yesterday. And I came back yesterday now. They said that the system's still down. Come back today. And I come back today now, they're charging $6.50 for late fee. All of my appointment was for Friday and I didn't get through Friday.
Late fees for renewal of license and 6 months late and a year late and what the figure is and the word late and nowhere in the story did the news the PNM fake news media say, this is late. And they just accept that late is normal. That late is okay. Late is not okay. Late is terrible.
What's nowadays, Stephen Jeffrey? I really didn't want to go into this political thing, but it's coming too direct. Now it's coming too direct. Things that I stand up for against the PNM. When I say, come out and vote, come out and vote. Who bring the merit points? Vote them out. Vote them out. Yeah, I sing that. I sing Rude Boy, remember, me Trinidad and Tobago. Me Trinidad and Tobago. I tell you, in both don't care about the hustler. Them raise the gas and watch poor people suffer. Race it 3 times and then laugh like a monster. Bring the merit point to kill off the hustler. Yet still we turn wrong and fighting each other. Hope you remember this when you dip in your finger. But boy, we dip with finger. We dip with finger for change. And by it change, it look pretty, they remove the demerit points. And now, they doubling everything. Minor infractions, things like blue light. You understand? Over the speed limit by 1. Double. Everything that's double. You understand? And Kamla campaign against that. They lied to me. They lied to me when I was campaigning with all you. I was grinding with we in stage on the truck. If you go back in my videos, you can see me singing on the truck. I didn't just send, I didn't ask for no money. I do that because I wanted to do it. Because it was affecting me directly. You understand? And that's what people is can do. In Trinidad, when you don't like something, you have to be able to come out and say you don't like it. But you know what? When I say I don't like it, you know, still people calling me a PNM now. They're calling me a PNM now. There wasn't seen how I fight against PNM. For the same thing what UNC doing be right now. But how they could do with them thing? And all they promise on them go do them things. So we get catching them, we all fools now. And some men so loyal, they find I should hush by. Well, I hush enough. But I don't want to be on that political thing too much on my page. This page is for music and entertainment. And let's have to vent a little bit this morning because all they raise and double the fines on traffic offenses, that is minor. Things that I have no control over. And I find it's very unfair. It's unfair. Or they're being unfair. You understand? Or they're being unfair. People vote for you. People come out and fight with all you. Or they use we to get all the PNM. You understand? Now, what they're doing worse than what the PNM was doing. So,
they say when they need help, ask Faith, you know. Uncle Rowley, right now, we need it. What you? Nobody calling your name, nobody blaming you. You just enjoy life right now. I could be where you is, boy. I need help, yes? Why? Right, I could cry. Big mad thing. I could cry right now. Uncle Rowley, where you is, boy? Find me now, boy. I need help. I need help. I need help. I'm on it. I need it. Uncle Rowley, where you?
Listen to this.
I get to feel the full blunt of change. The new traffic fines. Today, the first day of the year, I got a ticket. And guys, let me show you how much the ticket is now. $4,500 for going over the speed limit. So if you go over the speed limit of 31 kilometers of more per hour, $4,500. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I'm a God-fearing man. And if I broke the law, I understand. But $4,500, right? Now I understand that, you know, the new fines and thing came out, you know, within the rush and the stuff that was happening around the Christmas time. I didn't really pay too much mind, but I need to complain because I am a UNC supporter and I voted for the said government, and this is just, you know, the effects of change. But on a real, this can't be it, boy.
Yeah? In all that, because it was the PNM, they do that. They'll be outside on the road, get a number, they're still giving grace to the UNC. Well, mister, as you admit, you wrong, so handle your stories. So then why you make the video? Because you see, I had to make, this is our opinion, you had to make it because it hot you. But you have to let them know, you know, it's a UNC. Then I continues, yes. Listen to this.
Yes, it will be difficult because I cannot bring in my van to bring in the goods. So I will have to buy the goods from another vendor, from those vans and them that they sell the coconuts wholesale. So it will be costing me more. So I would have to increase my price by $1 or $2 so it can accommodate for the purchase. What also, do you make like in a month? In a month, like you could say, like I might make like $10,000 in a month. But that still would not be enough to pay this amount of tickets. So, and I don't know how am I going to get more time because they tell me I only have 1 month to pay it. Or, the tickets goes up by $250 every month. So then if these fines goes up by $250 additional now, how am I to survive? So I'm working for the TTPS. I have no future here. All my earnings shall be going to the TTPS. Look, yesterday was my birthday. I told them that it was my birthday. They had shown no mercy towards me. So, which means the TPS cares nothing about public servants.
Okay. The TTPS is saying cannot then get the orders, them following orders. Who it is getting them orders and them to increase all them things? Not by. That reminds me of what's in Solomon Juke. When we get the 14%. Watson Solomon Juke sent letters to all heads of department in the public service to increase the price, to take out a public officer's salary, not $50 that we used to pay under general properties primers, but $100. Now, under general properties primers, with $50, it had sports day, it had Queen show, it had bursary to the members train who pass the common entrance and or whatever. It had they giving money to different charities. It had region meeting. It had section meeting. It used to have general council meeting on time every Monday, third Thursday every month. You used to have conference and delegate meeting. They used to have different sections used to win for having meetings and things. They used to go Grenada. They used to go to big. Let me tell you something. She buy that property there at 89 Abercrombie Street. When under men like when I had and all of them, that building wasn't them own. She come with sometime when meeting happening, TNTech running to cut the light. They had to pull up money to run down by TNTech to pay me for all that. She bring PSA with the $50 a month to be a financial giant in this country. Watson Juke raised the payment. He didn't come and have a conference. He didn't have a general council. He just sent letters to heads of department and then just start taking out his salary, $100. You know what public officer was supposed to stand up against that? Because nobody gave Watson Juke and the permanent secretaries and them and heads of department to just go into his salary just so and take out money without we knowing what's going on. And what we get paid, no value to it. Same thing happening here. The fees before was a certain amount. Them say they're not going to think it because you can't tax a country into prosperity. But they come and doing the same thing, and that was they double up all the fines on them. And everybody just cried, oh, they have, yes, I'm a pedestrian. Me go walk. Just now they go have fees for pedestrian to pay just now. Wait to go see. Wait to go see. So this is the bacchanal happened down in licensing office.
Yeah,
that is people rushing to pay for the license that has increased 100%. I hear on Shogunas was the same thing. I see one of my former co-workers, she wrote this because she went down there apparently. So she said, so laws just changing overnight. Went to renew my license in Arima for 9:15 this morning. It expired the 20th of 11 2025. I had to change the address on my light bill so that they told me December bill will have to be will have the correct info. Now I know it's 6 months you will have to pay extra. When I reach, I informed the security that I have a 9:15 appointment and I wanted a renewal form. She replied, join the second line outside. So I said, what about the form? Still don't want to give me. The license officer came out. Now 3 lines there. One line is to get a form or to ask questions. One for appointment and one who appointment last Friday. I asked him for a form, still didn't get it. Waited about 1.5 hours to be called in. Then he told me I can't use the light bill because they no longer accepted light pole number and sent me to the TT post to get an address card. What the hell? Now I had to travel to TT post in Piaco. Our head office got the card and he told me to come back before 2:30. Reach where they check in the forms. Had to do a next form to change the address. 35 minutes, it must be that. Then she told me $1,035. I said for 10 years I want what? She said no late fees. I said when that changed? She said Friday. I said what kind of thing is this? What really going on? What the F really going on? That's why when people tell me about vote for change, can't catch me with that shit. Okay? That is somebody who get caught up in the whole melee. Yeah, telling on it? Okay. So this is Kamla Prasad Visesa when she talk about taxation. No taxation, right? Listen to she quick.
Stop taking away people's means to feed their families. Who will feed their families when they cannot earn a living? In addition, traffic fines are too high. UNC government will reduce traffic fines across the board and implement state-sponsored driver education programs instead. What is publicly presented as a mission for public safety, you know what, is really a scheme by this corrupt, wicked government to collect more taxes for revenue collection. We cannot ignore that the licensing authorities' heavy-handed tactics, which have turned our roads into battlegrounds at daily roadblocks and traffic jams. This is not about road safety. It is yet another tax drive by this government using the licensing authority to raise revenue. So when it's not property tax, inheritance tax, online tax, tire tax, it's tax after tax after tax, and now licensing authority taxes. It must stop. It must stop.
Oh God. The same thing Kamla Prasad Visesa and UNC, and people vote out Dr. Rowley and Commonwealth, how they're wicked and bad forever. You know what? People was able to pay their license, they was able to pay the demerit point, the driving was a little safer, people was partying, people was buying groceries, selling out, cars selling out, have a good time. This runs under this government, they could hardly have a carnival party. You ain't hearing much more carnival. Everything they take away sponsorship from not only steel pan now, I hear they take it away from track and field people, this MGC or one of them company. So the money is no longer to treat with the citizens of this country to help in a benevolent way. They take away all that. And it's more tax upon tax. When she promised all, they only went and said yellow is the code. The fella admitted yellow is the code. Yeah? And Rowley wicked and Rowley bad and coming, but is a monster and whatever. And now the taxing we into prosperity for the country to make back money. You see that $20,000 I guess some public officers as a raise on their back pay. You see that? They have to find money to put back because every month now they have to pay increase in salary to public officers. The PNN tell all that they can't afford to do that. Where they getting money from? They're afraid. They're afraid that to go to the IMF. That's my opinion I'm giving. So they taxing we to see if they can make back the money. And as on that, Felicia Thomas, stop fooling. The wards made and them in Port of Spain General Hospital. But they had to join the union. Them is under RHA. It already has thing in the RHA Act and that came out of the Joint Select Committee that although PSA is not the recognized majority union for the Northwest Regional Health Authority, that anything PSA get for the public officers, that all salaried workers, monthly workers in the RHS is going to get it. Why are you trying to force the workers to pay $100 due? Is it because PSA had no money? You want to get new members now? When you went to the nurses and them, I see to meet with the minister, with the CPO, did you tell the nurses in Northwest Regional Health Authority that they had to join PSA? PSA don't have RMU status. What had to join PSA for? They already had documents that shows that anything public officers get based on negotiation with PSA and the CPO, that they will get it too. It's money she's trying to make back off on her head, and she's not a good representative. She don't have general counsel. She only spending money with no authorization. She wants new members. Or they don't give she no $100. Don't join. It's already a document saying they have to get the money. And I understand she's telling them they even get $20,000. They might get about $10,000. So they're going to pay $100 to get less than what public officers get. Don't join. I tell them all, don't try and put all the $100. They only have to get all the money. Look at the documents. Look at when President George talked here, all the documents. It's not me saying so, here all the documents. Don't join. Let me continue. So as I was saying, the vote of the PNM, because the PNM taxing. Mrs. Kamla Pasagi says to the Honorable, she tell the country, they, if they get into office or they vote for them, they're cutting all them tax. Because the wicked, evil PNM, but now she double up everything. So who more blasted, wicked, and evil than the UNC? Yeah? To have people under that kind of stress. Who more wicked and evil? All the goodies? Listen to what the man who always say wicked and evil, because he say, yes, he's a talk some kind of out of time and talk. Or they hold him in heart. Because he say I raise gas price 2 times and nobody riot, I told him to hold them in mind. But all they in riot yet. The thing raised 1 time by double, and all of them complaining. But the money too hard, the doubles, and not the doubles now, the coconut man, the taxi driver, this one, that one, because the tears reach. Or then find she wicked and bad. Listen to Cromwell, or they go there.
I remember Ms. Bissessa saying that you can't tax a nation into prosperity. Those were her words. And for that reason, after we had stabilized the economy, I stopped increasing taxes. In the budget of 2023, the budget of 2024, 2025, I stopped and I said no more taxes, no more increases in taxes. And I kept that promise. Okay? They promised to reduce. I stopped increasing. They said they will reduce. What they do, they double tax, they add more tax, they dream up new tax. It doesn't make any sense. All you're going to have is tax evasion. The Board of Inland Revenue is not equipped to deal with this. It is not. So I don't know where Trinidad and Tobago is going with these amateurs. I just don't know.
Right? Right? Where we going? Listen to this. Remember the last time they wanted to interfere with UTC and we let the monies? Well, like they're doing it this wrong. You remember they wanted to interfere with national insurance? Well, you know what? National insurance money going up. Listen to the former Senator Obika.
Good day, Trinidad and Tobago. Tarek Obika, your economist, of course, former senator, former advisor to the Minister of Trade. It's come to our attention that the Unit Trust Corporation, of course controlled by the UNC government, has removed the price guarantee on the first unit scheme at the Unit Trust. And from the onset, I want to call on the government to reverse that decision immediately. It will do several things that are negative. One, it will remove confidence in the Unit Trust Corporation. Persons who are to deposit funds will know that there is no price guarantee as they deposit in the initial period, and therefore they may decide to put their monies elsewhere. That's one problem. So it can also lead to persons who are currently investing in unit trusts, and you have institutional investors, you have credit unions, banks, and so on. It may erode their confidence in the institution and cause them to have a run on the institution. And then, of course, anything that happens within the financial sector is connected to other players in the sector. So if there's a shaking of confidence in the unit trust, it will impact others. This must be remedied by the government immediately reversing that decision. All right? Nothing short of that will suffice. Trinidad and Tobago, the price of freedom is eternal vigilance. And this is our money. Even if you don't personally have funds in the unit trust, most likely your credit union has. Most likely your bank has. Most likely the company that you are working for also has. This is a homegrown asset. And in fact, many countries across the world have been asking Trinidad and Tobago to help them model the success we've had with unit trust to get them to establish their own mutual fund investment schemes. It's a worrying sight. Government intervention and politics. Politicking has no place with the people's money. A word to the wise is sufficient.
Yeah. The Trinidad and Tobago Unit Trust Corporation, UTC, was established by an Act of Parliament in 1981, launched in November 1982, to bring investment opportunities to ordinary citizens, a concept born from national discussion on financial empowerment after independence. While no single person is credited as the founder, the initiative came from a national call for financial autonomy, with a goal of allowing everyday Trinidadians to pool savings into the stock market, led by the government's vision, with figures like E. Henry Seeley involved in its early leadership. They want to interfere with the little money, anything where African people had a little money or benefiting from. This UNC government, in my opinion, mashing it up. They want to mash up the steel pan. They don't even want to put it on the quota. They say quite 2031. They stop sponsorship to steel band. They're disrupting the whole scene. They're stopping sponsorship for track and field. Who does more thing in track and field? It's not more African descent. We'll stop nobody else from taking back anything where the African man or woman and family could benefit from. This UNC government mashing it up. So they're going at UTC and going at people money. No, I'm going to play this. I do not advocate for what this man is saying, but it's important to listen because these things are real in our society. And if you know anybody in that situation where they're depressed or they're talking a kind of particular way, whatever the case, let them get help. Let people know whatever. Don't keep it and then after come and say, well, we did know and we did. No. Come out and talk, say something, help somebody. But listen to what this man has to say. Again, I don't condone what he's saying, but this is reality. And we have to be real.
Nah boy, anti kamla ya mood dia girl. Report ini ya girl. Nah boy. For everybody got work ah. All got a pack up ada. Suatu orang lain all got a pack up. Because if they hit on ticket and all want to pay, all got get frustrated. And all got just drama to hang on the pocket self. That is the way we take it now. Nah. That is the way we take it now. The Tobago. When all the vehicle have plenty defect, right? When all the vehicle have plenty defect, and all have no money to fix it. Yeah, and the police come and give all this ticket for this, that ticket so, this ticket here, ticket so, ticket in all. They might want to give all a ticket to see all inside all the asshole and all the amount to pay. She very nice, yeah. Auntie Kamla is a very nice lady. Yeah, so thank you. Yeah, and all I want to pay. All you can get frustrated. Or drink a bottle of fucking Amazon. Or take up time and go and hang all the fucking self. That is it because in this country now. All you watch and see for yourself. Watch and see for yourself. We're gonna get plenty of that. I don't watching that already. Yes.
My apologies for the obscene language. We are big people. I know sometimes you may have children in the house who may be passing on here or whatever. So my apologies to them. I did listen. I didn't listen to the whole thing, and I would have forgotten. Right? So as I said again, I don't condone what you say, whatever, but it's something to listen to because those things are real. There are a segment, there are persons within our society who those things are attributed to, unfortunately. So again, these things have these things that this UNC government is doing has long-term repercussions. Whether it's with the America situation with Venezuela, the taxes, the hate, the division in the country, whatever it is, they're trying to mash up Trinidad and Tobago. But you know what, the ancestors that we African people, ancestors would have served, the gods they serve in truth and honesty, will not allow that to happen. The Caribbean is a special place, you know. The Caribbean, no ordinary place, you know, where they bring in slave Africans, you know. We came here before indentured labor, so when I talk from that perspective, you know. Me and Vex with nobody else would come in and who should have come with her. But the first builders of our nation in Trinidad and Tobago is people of African descent, enslaved Africans. We are the first builders of this country, the roads, the bridges, the homes, everything, They take our ancestors from their home unwillingly, kidnap them, come into Africa and kidnap them. Now some people call, well, African was selling African, they will always have unscrupulous people, always. But that is not no majority or nothing. The salient and fundamental fact, they kidnap us from Africa, they rape us, torture us, beat us, take away our identity, with language, with music, with dress, with food, everything. And they try to make us nothing. And we are people so resilient, we come back on top because we were on top, not on top of everybody else, but on top of we game in science and physics and chemistry, in architect, in everything. We were the center learning, we teach the world, we make the world. The Caribbean is a special place, so to bring those special people down to the Caribbean and you feel the gods and them didn't stand up with them. You feel the gods didn't stand up with them. When you hear former Senator Obika talk about Ugun Chiren and he call people name, all that, don't play, you know. So let me continue. So that is happening there. We need intervention, serious spiritual intervention. I hope your Orishas and them praying. I hope the spiritual Baptist praying. I hope the Pentecostal and the 7 days and the Jehovah Witness and the full gospel. I hope all of them praying. I hope the Indians praying. I hope the Muslims praying. I hope that we're going down and press to save this country from kamla. Okay. So let me go to Tobago now. Very quickly, you all know that the THA election is January the 12th, 2026. I just want to say something to Tobago. My passport said Trinidad and Tobago. I wasn't born in Tobago. I was born in Tonapuna. The last set of babies born in 1965 in Tonapuna General Hospital. I was the 65th of them in December. So I was born in Tonapuna. My neighbor string buried in Tonapuna. That year they closed the hospital. So I feel as a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, I have a right, I could speak, I have an opinion on Tobago. I don't live there. I've been there about 2 times and had to do with Best Village. I had to go there, and otherwise I never would have gone. For me and both, no friend, me and plain no friend. However, I went. And I didn't go to sightsee. I went to work and whatever, but I saw a little of it and it's intriguing. So as I was saying, I think I have a right to have an opinion. People don't have to like it. They don't have to like me. I've always heard that the people of Tobago are politically intelligent, more than those in Trinidad. They are being more politically schooled. And I said, okay, I never challenge it. I know that a lot of intellectuals came out of Tobago. We have Dr. Rowley, the James, Dr. Vanna James, we had Anna Robinson, the president, we had the chief justice, and so I could go on and on and on. Businessmen, intellectuals, professionals, Tobago has been churning out intellectuals from ever since. Small island, about 60, 65,000 people, and they have been doing their part to build our stock in terms of intelligence here and academia and all. Yeah, other affairs also. So I have a great respect for people of Tobago. And I just want to say this. I'm not telling nobody who to vote for, because I don't live in Tobago. If I was living in Tobago, I would have been all up and down saying who to vote for. But I live in Trinidad, and everybody knows I support the People's National Movement. We don't hide that, because I have nothing to feel ashamed about. That's a party that has stood the test of time, a party that has a rich history in the development of Trinidad and Tobago, despite all what they want to say. All infrastructure in Trinidad and Tobago was built by the People's National Movement. You can't dispute that. All the government policies that the citizens enjoy in this country, old age pension, school feeding program, national insurance, maternity leave, stabilization act, now the Industrial Relation Act, all the industrial court, and on and on and on is People's National, right? So as I was saying, to Tobago people, I just want to tell you something. Earlier, all the 21-year-old and 25-year-old back in, who are now that age, who back in 2021, I think for the THA election, they would have been during the tenure of the PNM for 21 years. And in that 21 years, like it's a graph just like that. Every 4 years, people voted back in Tobago for the People's National Movement. They give them a new mandate, a new 4 years. So some children who are adults now may have been children back in those times and may not have known the history of the PNM in the THA, in Tobago, for the 21 years. So they were told that in 2021, they were told that PNM never did nothing for nobody and never did nothing for Tobago, and that, and they have bought into that, which is a lie. So based on that and other factors, you all would have voted for change. That is your right to vote for change, your democratic right to vote for change. Nobody can vex with all for that, or they don't have to vote for this one or that one, or they could vote for only one. You all voted for PDP, led by Watson Solomon Drew and Fali Chavez Augustine at the time. And you all vote overwhelmingly for them. PNM get a good cut ass. They end up with one candidate inside there, lone soul there, Kevin Morris, minority leader, and with him a secretary, I think her name is Petal Benoit. They have been doing human service. They never diminish themselves, they never diminish the value of their word just because it's just two of them alone, right? They stood up and they fought as champions in the PHA. Anyhow, so as I was saying, you all voted for change, so you all voted for PDP overwhelmingly. Soon after that, Watson and Fali fall out. They toss Watson aside and Watson make all of them. Watson make, nobody didn't know Zarisha and Boris and Megan and Fali, all that. Nobody didn't know them before Duke step in and they start to dress. Like all of them is twins, they start to dress the best and all kind of thing. Weave here, they didn't know, they don't know fake break, no, wherever she mean, wherever. Duke bring them out. They cut up Duke, throw it to the side, and they form independent. They say there's independent now, and Fali is the man running things and blah, 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 blah. And then after that, when people start to say, well, nobody didn't vote for independent, they formed the party TPP, this blue thing. And they had the supporters and the thing. You know, if I want to ask the TPP supporter, don't think with hate, because I hear a man calling on Darren Marcel show today. And that man get on with so much anger and so much hate in his voice, because Darren Marcel may have spoken or said something. I didn't listen to the show. I didn't hear that part what Darren Marcel had think. But I think it had something to do with Pollard. I will play just now talking about giving out houses on the eve of the elections and whatever questions, blah, blah, blah. And this man call and get on. I'm not paying and this. I don't listen. Nobody is fighting only for supporting the TPP. But I want to ask for you. In the 4 years the TPP was there, did they do anything that they say that it was going to do that the PNM didn't do to help and ease the separation that they say the PNM had Tobago people suffering? Have they done anything to ease that? Have they gotten the jobs for the young people to be working? Have they done anything to benefit education, building roads, social programs, anything? Have they done anything? Have they fulfilled their mandate? Ask that question. Under Farley, Chavez, and Gussin, who's supposed to be protecting Tobago people, the Americans are able to have a radar, and now we're here in a base in Tobago, and he didn't know nothing. A radar that we're hearing that they could have health challenges in years to come, things like blood diseases like leukemia and lymphemia and them kind of thing, lymphomania, but I can't pronounce the damn thing. But. And then we hear one of their own, this bald-head woman, which she name, I don't mean no disrespect, but that all them might know who I talk about. I say bald-head woman. She was a high-paid or one of the highest public officers in Tobago, very well spoken and thing and whatever. She's saying that the radar is a gift to the people of Tobago in the village or wherever it is, wherever. All them foolishness they're talking on that. So I'll come back to the question again. Has Farley fulfilled the mandate of the TPP in helping and making the lives of people in Tobago any better? I ask only that. Don't vote on, I don't like red, and I love my Farley's one of we boy. Don't vote on that because the children and all the children life depends on it. A whole army base is in Tobago. That Farley know nothing about. Farley sabotage the whole Tobago Autonomy Bill, a bill that had consensus for years. Anna Robinson, Hochoy Chalmers, the Soul, and all others went down to Parliament to be based on. Last minute, he sent a text message to derail the whole thing, talking about more consultation. Consultation with who? It went through years and years of consultation. He derailed that whole thing. So the whole lot I love Farley, and all they could love her and have nothing to do with nothing. That has nothing to do with nothing. We never tell nobody stop loving the Farley and stop loving Solution and stop loving. Me and saying, I don't have time with that. I'm asking only, has the TPP done anything to enrich all their lives? Look, I see somebody put a flag on somebody land, a PNM flag. And I hear in the video thing that Hackett not even living there. She leave where she living and come with people to remove the PNM flag off a land where it's not shielded. Then you see two men like they want to fight because one taking up the wrong and one pulling back. What are you doing all them things for? Why that flag bothering you? Go and put a TTT flag right next to it. You ain't living there, you going down there as a representative. You're not living there. You don't represent the people down in that thing. To get people to move the PNF flag, how that bothering you? It's not in the roadway passing. Then I come on here. This one I just call Hubert syndrome on the one who could take plane when some storm the thing and hire a whole charter plane to come back from some country back in Tobago and all kind of thing and all kind of bacchanal. Either he or some next one, the bill 4 bus share. It is alleged right here in something with air conditioning, whatever. 4 bus share. 4 bus share. So all I have plenty to think about. I'm just going to play these couple of things and I'm going to tell you all a lot, some of the PNM achievements in Tobago. In the 21 years, all they keep talking as if the Tobago people didn't say after 4 years, we voting back PNM because we like what they do. After 4 years, we voting back PNM. So let me do some maths here. Every 4 years, right? Or we do some maths with me. 4 into 21. 4 into 20 is 5, right? Therefore, 5 are 20. So 5 on 5 occasions, Tobago people went back and said, we want PNM, we want PNM, we want PNM, we want PNM. The Tobago people voted for PNM. So these are some things coming out of Tobago with the advent of the election coming and all that, right? But even before that, the minority leader was speaking out here, and Ms. Petal and Ansel Dennis, who is the leader of the PNM in Tobago, they have been speaking out. So it's not nothing new. It's just that it has been more amplified because of the election. So listen to it.
But I want to tell you that while they're telling you Tobago is we, they're quietly selling off Tobago to them, the people down in South Trinidad. Because ask the person next to you who owned the quarry in Tobago. Ask them that. Ask them
who owning all the lands in Friendship Estate. Ask them who owning now. I hear they're looking to go away with no man's land. Who own no man's land? But they're coming to tell you Tobago is we. But next time they come by your gap and they tell you Tobago is we, tell them all the nonsense, all the victimization, all the corruption that they carried on for the last 4 years, that is now we. And when you tell them that, tell them you're not satisfied with the last 4 years and you want them to ride out. So, ladies and gentlemen, the reality is that when they come to tell you Tobago is we, they really mean that Tobago is them. A select few of them in partnership with their friends from Trinidad, hell-bent on ripping off you, the people of Tobago. And I have to tell you how you got ripped off. Because the same man who is vying to represent this area, the same man who is challenging Kelvon Morris, is also a Tobago contractor. And under the PNM, that man got almost $10 million in work under the People's National Movement as a Tobago contractor. So I find it rather strange that a man who benefited from a Tobago First arrangement is quite prepared to run behind people who are hell-bent on putting Tobago last, Tobago first. But I want to say to him that after Kelvon Morris cut his tail and after the PNM returns to the Tobago House of Assembly, we will continue to advance our Tobago First agenda, and he might even get more work, because we don't victimize nobody. Our position is that Tobago belongs to every single Tobagonian. All 60,000 of you, whether you wear blue, black, red, yellow, or you're dressing bareback, Tobago belongs to all of us. And therefore, under the PNM, there will be no PNM contractor, there will be no TPP contractor, there will be no PDP contractor. All you will have are Tobago contractors. You dig, you dig, you dig. So I want to say to Ricky, fear not. After Kelvon cut your tail, you could continue your business as usual under the PNM.
That's the leader of the People's National Movement, Tobago, Ansel Dennis, who was Chief Secretary prior to Chavez Atmosphere. So listen to Paula. This is one of the TPP persons. And I think that is what angered the man today on Darren Masso's show, because I think you were saying the PNM does the same thing. And I want to tell you, gentlemen, the PNM don't do that. Listen to what this man's saying, and then after I will just come.
We have decided to go design build finance. The contractor is ready. There's 130 units to be constructed at Riseland, and 120 units to be constructed at Adventure by another contractor. That contract will be signed probably by tomorrow morning. Now, I want to say this slowly, because I want you all to understand. As Secretary for Housing, I am entitled to handpick 25% of any housing or land distribution development. So if there is 100 housing development to be done in an area, once you have the wherewithal and the qualification, you do not have to go into the lottery draw. I could handpick you, along with my colleagues, that you 25 persons is selected. But guess what? I know the plight of my people have been suffering for such a long time. And although the contract has now started, I'm saying to persons, the housing range starts from $650,000 upwards. That is for Adventure. I could hand select 34 persons. But just remember, just know this. I've discussed everything I do I discuss it with the Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly. I consult with my boss. So this week, before the contractor even scratch ground, 34 Tobagonians will be selected to receive housing at Riseland Housing Development, and another 30 will be selected for housing development in Adventure in Plymouth. So that is 64 persons will receive housing.
Well, listen to what this man is saying. I have never heard the PNM doing anything like that. I've never heard the PNM come out and say that as a MP, I will personally handpick these persons to get house. You don't have to go in the lottery system. I will handpick all them. And before the house is even built, I don't handpick who I'm going to put there. I've never heard that in the PN. I've never heard it on no platform for no elections. Never heard that. If it happens, I don't know. But I've never heard no MP for the PNM go on no platform, no election time or no time to say, we're going to build houses. But before the houses even built, I don't pick who I want for them houses. You don't have to be no lottery draw. I never hear that in my life yet. If all they know better than me, all they tell me. But that is what this man is promising. So you are going to victimize people. Because if you handpick and use that TPP, you're just going to handpick TPP. You ain't going to handpick no PNM people or no people who you feel no support TPP. It will only be TPP people. That is bias. That is unfair. And that is what all I wanted to make. I say and again, all they leaning to the intelligence of the people of Tobago that I know all to be. Leaning to that when all they making all decision on the 12th of January. Listen to this.
You want to know what is the biggest project that the TPP executed? You know, it's the only thing that they're building right now, billboards. Imagine, brothers and sisters, you cutting ribbon to unveil a billboard. That is the madness that passing for governance in Tobago at this point in time. When a government, just before an election, the week before an election, should be running and cutting ribbon to open Ting, they're opening billboard. Over $10 million worth of money on billboards. They open one today. Down in Friendship. Trevor have 4 on top of Works Hill. He have one down in Codlall. And everything coming soon and proposed. If I had a Tobagonian had to depend on coming soon and proposed, I get nothing. Because they open a billboard, and I say it because it's big fanfare. Open a billboard in Bacalet for Scarborough Sec. The billboard's still there. They open a next billboard in Colon for Early Childhood Center. No childhood center, billboard still there. You put up a big one before the last election by Rockleyville. Well, that did it long enough till he mash up and he fall down, because that is all they're good for. And now you're gone and you put up 4 on top of Works Hill. Everything proposed and coming soon. But I want to know who was in office for the last 4 years. That's what I want to know. And I want to know, I want to tell Tobagonians, pay close attention to who coming back to you. Because they're coming and saying, give you a next chance. Because we wasn't too sure about how the thing was running before, but we told you that they didn't know what they was doing.
So that is former Senator Hislop there speaking. And listen to this young guy who is endorsing one of the PNM candidates.
Yeah, good day. My name is Antonio Jordan and I'm from Bethel, born and grew. And we've been playing cricket here for almost 15 to 16 years, ever since I was a young boys. I used to watch them bigger fellas playing and come out on the road and enjoy themselves. Me still and everybody has seen here, we accustomed been playing this game for a long time, and it's fun for us as youths in the community. You know, we just always trying to find things to keep yourself active now, boy, so that we don't get caught up on, you know, some of the things that does be going on the block and these things. You know, it's not always about bad still, and as a person, always positive and influential in trying to make us do positive things. Now we just play football, cricket, go on the beach, anything positive still, and always the one who push for that now, boy. So it's a great opportunity now to see him making a big step in life, and I'm really proud of him as a friend of mine for real years. We went to school, you know, we go from far back now, boy. So to see him take this kind of opportunity is really heartwarming now, boy. To know that he trying his best to make a difference for Tobago and for the youth of Bethel on a whole, you know. So as you see, we're having a good time. It's a good vibes. It's a nice initiative. So I'm encouraging all the youths from Tobago and especially from Bethel Newgrange that let's come out and put Tobago first again. It is very important for the future, right? Have a blessed day.
I want to congratulate the PNM in Tobago for being able to attract so many young persons, professional persons, persons who are activists within the community, who want to serve and who want to do it through the People's National Movement. I want to commend them. I love the platform. I love the youth. You could always say PNM is old people and PNM can't attract nobody. Well, let me tell you, Tobago has shown that PNM Tobago could attract young people of substance, young people who have morals and values, ethics, who are willing to serve, who are willing to help the community in truth and honesty. They're not perfect, nobody perfect in life. If you're looking for perfection, you need to go to another reality to live. But I'm saying that I love seeing that, and I think that is what gives the PNM the edge, that edge this time around. I think that for the young people are from the communities and they know what young people want, they speak in the language, and there's a connectivity. So I applaud Tobago PNM for that. If nothing else, all on point with that. And I hope that will translate into success January the 12th. So listen to this. I'll remember this is my doodle, I haven't seen a long time. Right, that is former member of parliament for Tobago. I think it's West, or East, can't remember which one. It's Shamford Cultural Lewis there, working with one of the young candidates for the upcoming THA election. It's nice to see that, giving her support. I'm also seeing out there Miss Ayana Webster Roy, former member of parliament, final East or West, can't remember, in Tobago, also giving her support in the meetings and with the candidates and all that. It's lovely to see that. And I just feel happy and excited about the whole thing. And let me tell you how the feeling is so infectious and the vibes is so real. And the man who called in on radio today and carrying on, he sounds very frightening. If you're so confident that the TPP is the Tobago gone through all that, you should be calling on the radio and sounding happy and light and not angry and heavy. And it was not nice how he behaved on radio. So just to show you how infectious this thing is, listen to Fadi Chavez Augustine, listen well to what he's saying. And it reminds me of when Duppy, Rodney Duppy Charles, I call him Duppy, right? Yeah, would have said in a UNC jersey on our UNC platform, saying the only party to take us out of the morass and the mayhem and thing whatever is the People's National Movement. And people were like, because you know he was on our UNC platform. So this reminds me of that moment. And we call these things Freudian slip, is what is in your subconscious that's come through your mouth, right? So listen to this, and we'll end on this.
Across in Buku, Mount Pleasant, we are giving our support to the man who will defeat Keegan the New.
March out, Ansel, march out, you the people, them want them not go take no talk when other party talk. Them song they start, when me say them song they start. So vote PNM today. Ansel not go play games, no time. Him ready up enough, fight. So YTP still a try, fight. Ansel not in a the talk, him a go fix every road fi walk. From Kodla Hall, right back to Mason Hall.
Right. If you missed it there, that is false. That was Augustine saying he is supporting the man who will beat his own candidate, the Keegan guy. I think that the one who would have moved from PNM and gone across just to TPP. He is supporting the man who will beat his own candidate, and that candidate who he's supporting is Ansel Dennis. So that is why I tell you that what in his subconscious, this country mode, Freud had called it, if Freud would have come up with that theory, his subconscious, now that's what they call it, Freudian slip. So he has, Fadi has already indicated that Ansel Dennis is going to win his seat. And I am saying that the other candidates, young, vibrant candidates, Kevin Morris, who has shown you that, listen, I could be just one in number, me and Ms. Petel, but we're going to stand and fight in defense of Tobago. And he did it for 4 years. They insulted him, they ridiculed him. He stayed focused, he stayed driven, and he has succeeded now. So you're telling me you all want people like him in the theater to fight. You all have a radar there that Fali didn't even know that the Americans put on there. There's a base there that it is alleged that he didn't even know. You want people to stand up and fight for Tobago. And Kevin Morris has shown that he stood up against the 15 and he fought every day in the theater while they ridiculed him and they embarrassed him and all that. He stood up and he fought and he brought the information that he had them on the P's and Q's in the theater. And that's what you want, and the PNM is going to fight for Tobago. But again, I'm leaving that choice with people at Tobago. I believe and I have confidence that you all, because you all are more intellectually, politically schooled than people in Trinidad, will make the right choice. But let me just call out some things that the PNM would have done in the 21 years that every 4 years Tobago people would have voted them back for because they were performing. I can't call everything as plenty. So let me start here. In agriculture, provided capacity enhancement training to farmers in a range of areas, including crop production, livestock production, and agro-processing, developed agricultural access road in various areas in Tobago, thereby allowing farmers to have greater access to the land, introduced the Home Garden Initiative and Eat Local campaign to boost agriculture production on the island, established the Youth Apprenticeship Program in Agriculture, YAPA, to support the participation of young people in agriculture, established new companies inclusive of Tobago Cassava Product, Fish Processing Company of Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago, cold storage and warehouse facility that is now being merged into the Tobago Agri-Business Development Company in a continued effort to increase value added from the agricultural sector in Tobago. Provided financial support to Beekeepers Association, Tobago Agricultural Association, and Tobago Agricultural Society to assist them in ongoing work in this sector. Reconstructed the Scarborough market, constructed new fishing facilities in various areas in the islands, inclusive of Delaford, Charlottesville, Mount Irving, Studley Park, Bell Gardens, Cascara, thereby providing facilities for fishermen to sell their products in a more sanitary manner. Provided financial assistance to fishermen through the Business Development Unit to purchase boats and engines. provided capacity enhancement programs for fishermen in areas such as safety at sea, provided financial assistance and support to purchase devices for fishermen such as GPS tracking to improve safety at the sea, provided support for farmers in Tobago as part of COVID-19 response by the provision of land clearing services, provision of planting material, distributed startup kits and seedlings for the Home Garden Initiative. Oh, then roadworks, traffic management, all here. I can't read all this. Then, oh Jesus, then it's our culture, tourism. Listen, I can't read all this thing. The more I see it, listen, director will post it up on Bounce Up. I have it on my Jennifer Frederick Facebook page also. Let me talk the thing. Go and read it. It is extensive. So nobody can say in 21 years the People's National Movement didn't do anything for Tobago. They can't say for 21 years it just stayed because every 4 years the people of Tobago give them a mandate to go back in and continue the good works, and they have worked. They have worked. So people in Tobago, the choice is in all their hands. I just want to tell everybody, those who logged on via YouTube, those who logged on my Facebook page, where we told you, thank you all for supporting. Thank you all for staying with me. All 200, it was 300 and something, but I guess people are going listening now to the meeting in Tobago. But thank you all still. When I started this whole process back in 4 years or 3 years ago, I started with about 3 or 4 people on my live. So it's a pleasure for me to see 200 people, 300 people, 400 people, 500 people, 10 people, 15 people. I appreciate you all. Love you all. See you all on Friday. Gospel I come with something for something new. This is girl Jenny and Sister Jenny, Auntie Jenny. And if you want to get formulas, Miss Jennifer Frederick, another edition, let me tell you thing. I may jump in sometime prior to Friday just to bring you some more news from Tobago and some of the developments that the PNM in Tobago had in the THA with the 21 years in office. I may do that, or I just may do a dose of Jenny and just post it out there, but I will keep you all informed. And again, thank you all so much. Love you all. See you all on Friday or probably before that. Have a blessed night and do enjoy the Tobago meeting tonight. Listen carefully, Tobago people, and make your choice wisely.
Vote for we and we will set you free. Anywhere you turn, somebody chanting to we. Somebody promising job for all. Some renting fund to make other people ball. But somebody promising more police car. Somebody going to take the country far. Somebody putting all the bandits away. He said if they do the crime, they're going to damn well pay. But somebody promising a human rights, while somebody threatening to put out your lights. The mortuary full with little Trinidad boys. A bullet start to whine and put an end to the joy. Now they're lying call for their mama to mourn. The Nike gone, the gold teeth gone. You see they want their pocket full with blue silk. They want the statue drinking full cream milk. The little red silk is not their true friend. The blue one have two extra north on the end. So a tag on the toes, now they take it to hell. But look where we reach, well, I hear a madman born. As he spread out on the wall, he said, this is it, I've been hit. No time to give up, brother, no time to quit. Was the chant of a madman in this tale from A madman rant is my only resolve. I hear the madman voice as he lay on a horse. He said, this is it, this is it, this is it. I've been hit, but no time to give up, brother, no time to quit. A chant of a madman in this tale from a strange land. It was a chant of a madman in this tale from a strange